everyone. As you can probably tell from me shaking hands with Steve and, of course, standing next to James, I am elevationally challenged, and so I brought I'm sorry?
A mountain of a man.
A mountain of a man. Well, you know, there was a stump out front, but Jane wouldn't let me bring it, so I bring this chair instead. But thank you, Steve. I appreciate it very much. I want to talk a little bit about ideas. Okay, ideas, the power of ideas. And I want to start off a little with my own background. You know, it feels funny to stand up in front of you folks and talk about myself because I know so many of you for so long. In fact, some of you here, like Marianne Henshelwood, Marianne, I've known even before I was born. You know, so some of these people go so far back. My parents are here. Bob is taking pictures as usual. If you ever want to find Bob, look behind the camera. Bob and Doris are here. Dad, give him a hand, please. He just turned 85. Mom is the same age at 39. But
And the same height.
and the same height. She would use this too. These guys came to Christiansburg in the late 1950s and came for school, as so many people did. Mom came to Radford and Dad came to Tech, and they stayed because they loved it here. And I'm a small town guy. You know, I grew up in Christiansburg. I went to Christiansburg High School, Christiansburg Elementary School, and my Christiansburg was middle America. I mean, it was just middle America with middle-class people. Richard, you remember? You know exactly what I'm talking about. How many people grew up in Christiansburg in the 60s? Oh, good. Okay. Here's my crowd. You know, it was a middle-class life, and we were middle-class people, and you know, it was. I guess it may not have been as egalitarian as I think, but at the time it seemed like we were all pretty much the same. We got along, I think, pretty well as we could, and it was a great place to grow up. I was sandwiched between two brothers. Both of them were sort of dominant people. I'm glad they're not here right now. I came out a little bit feisty, I think. I looked for doors that said out and went in them. When somebody said up, I went down, and somebody said black, and I said white. So I was a little bit of a feisty person, but you know, it's what it took. But I was always thinking about a new way of looking at things, innovation and ideas. In 1972, Virginia Tech's admission office made a huge mistake, and they accepted me for enrollment. And 4 years later, they made an equally bad mistake and graduated with me with a degree in mechanical engineering. And it was one of my proudest moments, probably the hardest I've ever worked. If any Indian engineer graduates here, it's really hard work, okay? But I had good people, good role models, and good teachers. And the late Harry Robert Shaw was a teacher of mine. Bud Robertson, many of you know. J.B. Jones was my head of mechanical engineering when I got my degree there. J.B. is going to be 90 next month. And the first check we got for this campaign was a $500 check from J.B. Jones. And I have to tell you, J.B. lives at Warm Hearth, and we live close to there, and I'm just so excited that he's my friend to this day and that he's supporting me. I went off to Seattle. I needed to see some other places, explore new pastures, and Seattle was a wonderful place. My friends back here, Beth and Jerry, have just gotten back from that area, from Vancouver. What I found is it's not as nurturing as Montgomery County. It wasn't quite as friendly, but it hardened me a little bit. It's a very innovative place, totally innovative place, and everybody's got an idea, and everybody's spawning a company. And so I got swept up in that. And when Dad and I agreed that I'd come back in 1991 to take over the family business, I tried to bring that innovation and entrepreneurial spirit, those fresh ideas, back here. So, you know, through the years, through the 22 years we've been back, you know, Jane has gotten her PhD. Good job, Jane. My daughter Whitney, my only child, graduated from Virginia Tech. She's the third in the family. We're a Tech legacy family. And we ran the printing business for a long time. And we sold it about 5 years ago. And during the course of this, we had built an industrial building in Christiansburg, the Threshold Center. And, we're landlords now. And so I basically have 3 jobs, and now 4. I'm a landlord. We're co-owners of Pocahontas Press. I'm a writer. Many of you have read my articles and things. I am the county's most opinionated person. If you ever want to know how I feel about something, it's pretty easy to find out. And I've written 5 books. And they're available tonight or at Amazon.com. How many people here have read one of my books? Oh, you guys, you're my best friends. I love you all. So, Steve has done a really good job about talking about my opponent. I don't want to talk much about my opponent. I want to talk about ideas. And I want to talk about, I've got a couple of ideas that I want to bring forward that will improve the lives of middle-class people. Things that I think we can get through the General Assembly, and I want to hit the ground running. And I've had a couple of people tell me that it's going to take you a term or two to really get your feet wet and understand it, and I'm too impatient for that. So I'm determined to come into the General Assembly with some ideas and move forward on them. My race, of course, doesn't have quite the glamour, I think, as James's, but I think it's clearly going to be a challenge. Okay, it's in a district that has not been friendly to the blue side, but we're going to contest it, and we're going to make the other side work. And our goal is to go into Election Day with a chance to win. And I appreciate all the help that I'm getting from you folks. It's going to take everybody. So thank you again.